All right, welcome back. We're going to set up our next trading plan, next trade plan in INSW. And this is part of an exercise where we're doing 30 plan trades. And here I have the components of the plan. And you can always go back to the first post where I set the exercise up. Right, number one, you want to have an objective method you're using. Number two, right, an objective entry, stop, and exit. This is all stuff you want to know ahead of time. Number three, you want to know your position sizing and risk management. And the fourth part of the whole trade plan is documentation and review. So I'm going to be talking about documentation and review in this post. And now that we have some trades that we've done since we've started, we'll just do a review. Now, there's a lot of ways to do a review, right? Depending on what you focus on. We're not going to focus on how we could have avoided getting stopped. At this point, right, this is all about learning consistency and discipline. At this point, a review basically has two questions. Did you make a clear plan ahead of time? Did you follow that plan? That's it. You know, these are the kind of questions they demand an honest answer, yes or no. It's easy enough, right? It's going to force you to confront your trading discipline head on without any room for excuses or escape. And that's what we're doing here, trying to cut out all the escape routes. And just a reminder, you know, rules in trading aren't a suggestion or an option, right? It's not a suggestion when you make a rule. A rule is a rule. I want to have no escape from that rule. It's not, oh, let's be flexible. No, a rule is a rule when you're planning this discipline. So this is more about learning the foundations of discipline and consistency than winning. So just consider that. Now, I know, and we'll go over this and we'll, you know, I've just been demonstrating it, but I know this kind of, not everybody's ready for this kind of accountability and responsibility, and maybe doesn't even think it's necessary. You know, we're all at different places. You're ready when you're ready. Now, if it can be overwhelming, this seems to be the hardest thing for traders to do, is make a clear plan and then follow it. And I get that it can be overwhelming and hard to step into. No problem. You just keep persistent. And one of the things you can do is, if it is overwhelming, is break it up into pieces. All right. So look here. You're going to have some sort of method, but see, trade entry, stop, and exit. Every trader's got some issue somewhere. Maybe you have a problem with setting your stops or moving them. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have a problem after you're in the trade and jumping out. Maybe you have a problem hanging on too long, thinking it's going to run. All of these problems are all the same problem. You know, it's all fear. So what you could do is break it up and do one at a time. So if your problem is with setting stops, do 5 or 10 trades where the only thing you focus on, the only thing you need to accomplish is putting your order in and setting that stop and living with it, right? If you accomplish that one step, now you're doing what you need to be doing, right? You will be on your way to mastering the rest of it. Now, after you've mastered that step, you can go to the next step. All right, I've got stop. Now I'm going to work on following my management. And so now all you're going to do is work on following your management. Or you can add stop and management. So you can do it one piece at a time. You know, you can figure out whichever brand of crazy you have and attack that, and then move on to the next step. So it's easy enough to do this in steps. Pick one issue, focus on it. Setting these foundations will serve you later on for your next 1,000 trades, right? You might not get immediate gratification and it might be difficult. But that's the whole point. You know, do you want to keep banging around being a punter for 20 years? Okay, so let's do a review now that we've got some data. I'll just do everything that I did live here. I think our first trade was FNV. Remember, there's only 2 questions. Did I make a clear plan? Yes. Boom. Did I get stopped where I said I was going to get stopped? Yes. All right, so this was a short, and then I got stopped on the next bar, and so I followed my plan, nothing else. Right? I didn't worry about it afterwards. So the next trade we did, and so you'll see markings because I did little lessons with each one of these. Did I make a clear plan? Yes. Did I execute that plan? Yes. So basically what I did was go short where I said I was going to go short and stop out where I said I was going to stop out. End of trade. No hacking, no doing anything. IoT. Next one. Did I make a clear plan? Yes. This was I think I put a limit order instead of a buy stop order and it triggered accidentally or something. So this was a one off here. But I'm getting in here at the 50 line, right? So I say I'm getting in here at the 50 line. And it gets all the way up to 3-1 for me. Let me fix this real quick. So I'm in where it gets all the way up here to, 2-1, and then stops me out, ticks me, and then runs. Do I jump back in? No. Did I follow my plan? Yes. So I'm not worried about how to figure out how not to get stopped. I got stopped. It's going to happen, right? It's just going to happen. And the more you practice this, the more that this kind of thing doesn't even faze you, right? At a certain level of practice, this is going to bug you for a month. After you've practiced a little bit, it only bugs you for a week. After you've practiced some more, this kind of thing only bugs you for a minute. And then you forget it, right? It's called letting go, but it takes practice. So you see 3 stops banged in a row. Next, whoops, I don't know what happened there. Next is ASO. Somehow, there we go. ASO, did I make a clear plan? Yes. Did I follow that plan? And you can look at the bottom of these posts and you'll see I updated every time I move stops. And we get out at exit. So this was a 6R trade. Ring. Same thing. Did I make a clear plan? Yes. Did I execute that plan? Yes. So we had limit orders just waiting. We got hit. We got stopped, and then price turned around. It's about to set up again for me. But I have rules for that, so I don't even care until it sets up again. And then it's a brand new trade. I won't remember this. Who cares? Roblex. This was a lesson on gaps. This one was a really nice one. Triggered me in and stopped me out the very next day. So you see, you get a lot of stops, but my wins are shooting for 6R. Len, we entered over here, right? I didn't dance around, just followed the plan, and started to manage it and got really close to getting my 6R, which would have been here. So this was our target. Got really close, but we trailed stops by 3. And so today, this one knocked me out. So notice I'm not hanging around, right? You'll see the comment, right? I'm out at 3R. I made 3R on this trade. I was really close, but you don't punch out. Rules are not a suggestion. So we made a little bit. ARC, because those are the completed trades. ARC, we're still in. Made a clear plan, and I'm following that plan. I either get stopped or move to BE next. Sting. This is one that we're in. Did I make a clear plan? Yes. Did I enter? Yes. I cannot move my stop yet because my plan says wait till I get to 3R before I move my stop. So no matter what, I follow the plan. Katos. This is a trade waiting to be triggered, and I do nothing until it triggers. If it hits the low, I cancel it. BX, another trade, just a limit order waiting. And so I'm following the plan just fine. It's, we planned it back here someplace. Rocket. This is another plan in place. We're just waiting on it. And so now that brings us back to INSW. So, all I'm doing is asking two questions. You saw I didn't spend a lot of time with woulda, shoulda, couldas. And, oh, no, they got me. Or, oh, I took 3 in a row. No, did I follow the plan or did I not follow the plan? That's the purpose of this exercise. And so that's a way to do the review, right? We can look at the review to look for some technical things. When you have enough data, you can come back here and you can examine all of these and say, well, how many of these do I get chopped out of and it runs? You need to have a lot of numbers. You need to be doing something consistently. So that's the review portion. Now let's do the documentation portion. This is where we're going to plan everything ahead of time. We're going to know how we're going to enter. We're going to know where we're going to put a stop. We're going to know how we're going to manage. And then we're going to document. And the method isn't important. I'm swing trading, okay? For me, this is a pretty chart. Just if you've watched any of my things where I'm talking about market structure, I can see this is a very organized chart, which is surprising, right? This is some form of a shipper. And I never in my life thought I'd be trading shippers because they're historically awful to trade. But, right, you never know. Life changes. Life changed here and, after COVID, and all of a sudden, shippers were in vogue. Other than that, you spent, so you can see what I'm talking about. You could spend a lot of years going sideways. So as long as it's moving, it's got volume. It's very organized, very pretty. Even you can see it's even got the same size swing to it. So I'm just structuring a market here, right? I'm swing trading. And you can see just swing trading. So this is just seeing structure. And you'll see it's very similar, right? Come out of the thing, pop. Come out of the downtrend, pop. Right, so this is more of a pushy swing here. It's more of a shelf than a swing. But it's a minor. It's this size. It's these minors. You'll see. All right. So for documentation, I suggest that you make a template with your plan. And what are you going to put in the plan is going to be, I have a template here. And so what you're going to put in the plan is your position sizing. I did a post on that. It's all worked out, 0.5%. Your exact entry ahead of time, right? Always a day ahead of time. So exact entry. So this is going to be a limit order since it's already come out 52.47. And oops. And the stop is going to be, these are just cut up in 25% of this reaction leg. Stop's going to be 51.28. And then I need to come up with the amount of shares. And this is part of my documentation as well. I'm going to enter this into a spreadsheet, or you can use a journal software or whatever you like. But make this part of your documentation. INSW. And so I know where I'm going to get in, right? It's going to be 5247. I know where I'm going to place a stop, 51. This is a really relaxing way to trade. People think it's, well, this is way too confining, right? Too limited. I want to be able to move around. And mostly you're just going to jump around to your emotions and get really stressed out. I know what I'm going to do, when, how, and where. I've already put all the work into the method and the testing and all of that. So this is going to be 420 shares, 6-1. That's how much I'm risking. That's how much target points. Now, this isn't a very quick, fast Momo mover. You see it's going to take a pretty good chunk here. But I don't care. As long as it's there and it's moving and it's got volume. 420. And target is going to be 59.61. Okay. And then you're going to want to take a snapshot. Okay. You're going to want to take a snapshot of what you were looking at when you took the trade, right? What's influencing you, right? There's a lot of accountability here. So I'm just going to try and catch a limit order on this line. Now, if we gap below that line, I don't want to be filled. All right. Then I'll turn around and I'll turn it into a buy stop. So I want to be on this line, period. And, if price starts to take off without me, by the time it starts to close above that high, then I'll cancel that order. So everything is already known. There's not a whole lot of mystery here. So let's just go to the trouble of actually placing the order. Still getting the hang of trading view. All right, so let's just tighten this up. It's going to be 52.47. And this is going to be 51.28. And this is going to be 59.61 target. So we're always setting a bracket order. Stop goes in with the order. And like I said, no matter where you're at with an issue, you can just tackle things one at a time. Maybe your issue is, you're afraid to take the trade in the first place, or maybe your issue is you take too many trades. So you tackle that one thing that you need to tackle and just master that, and then you can move on to the rest. All right, so I think we're all set. This order is ready to go. It's going to be a limit order, right? We want to buy that line. Orders away. Looks like we're set. And that's it. There's just 2 questions to ask when doing your review. Let me just add one last piece here about rules, right? You'll see I say rules aren't a suggestion. It's not a flexible thing. Now, if you're not ready to commit, don't make the rules, because you just set yourself up to break them, and that's not good. So take it as you're ready. All right, I think that's it.